The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Games to the Max. This is episode 193, and I am your host, Sean Garmer, and here with me as always, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Of course, this is the official video games podcast at W2Net.com, and we are in partnership with Last Word on Life and 4media.com as well. Well, Gamescom happened, and there's a lot of gameplay to go out and watch if you want to do that for upcoming games. There were game announcements that we'll get into as well. Microsoft announcing a pretty big thing that could be even bigger if they use it on their next system and more. Well, we'll get into all that, but let's start with what we have been playing. And you've been playing more World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth, I presume.
Yeah, I hit 120 after like 4 or 5 days of it out. Yeah, just been doing dungeons and trying to get like better gear, and I finally did one of the like mythic dungeons tonight. That was fun.
So how long do you think it took you to, like hours wise, to get to that 120?
Probably about 20, maybe 15. Nah, actually probably about 10, because I kind of knew what I was doing since I played the beta too.
You say that's sort of, well, it's not really so much about getting to that max level, right? That's sort of,
No, that's just opening the game up. Now you have to start getting geared for like higher level dungeons and stuff like that. Like I barely made it into this dungeon tonight because it was a mythic dungeon, and you have to have like a pretty high gear score to even get inside of it.
I saw you play with some of the giant bomb people.
No, it wasn't any. The giant bomb guys have just like, I think it was Matt Rory. He just started like a guild essentially with their new community thing. So I just played with like some members from that. Like it was just like a bunch of no name people or just random people. But we all needed to get in this stupid dungeon. So
anything good?
Yeah, I finally got my first good epic. And I completed like the main WoW storyline for the Alliance at least.
You gonna go back and play as a Horde character? Or?
No, because they're scum.
Well, anything, I know we talked about it a little bit last time, but anything about the game or the expansion that sort of makes the WoW better, or?
Still getting rid of world PvP is a godsend. As far as the actual specific things they introduce, I'm a bit more iffy on. Like I did a few island, not expansions, like expenditures, or not expenditure, like explorations, I guess that's a good word. And like you just run around this stupid island with 2 other people, like killing a bunch of random monsters to get Azerite, like the mineral in this game, and you're facing up against a Horde team, but I barely knew what I was doing, and it seemed like a huge clusterfuck. I think we won, but that was about it. Like, I couldn't tell you like what actually happened.
So if you did know what you were doing, it might have been a bit more enjoyable.
Yeah, and I'm just not quite certain on the whole Azerite thing as it is. Like, you have this heart of, I think it's like Heart of Azeroth. Like, right. It's supposed to be like your new legendary weapon from the last game, or artifact weapon, but it doesn't function like that. And it's just kind of boring. Like, because there's nothing inherent in the actual necklace that gives you powers. It's like you have to find specific gear, and that's like kind of what unlocks powers. But you only unlock like 3 or 4 powers per piece of gear, and it's just kind of pointless.
Did you used to unlock more powers per gear or something? Or
Well, in the old one, you had a weapon. So like you'd get artifact power, and then you'd unlock a node on the weapon, and now it can do now you can do different things with it. And it was all very standardized. Like, it's not like there was any big differentiation. Like this has a little more choice with with what you want, but you only have 2 options. It's like I got the new headpiece, and it was like, okay, I could only unlock 1 power because my necklace is too low level. And it was like, do you want arcane missiles to do more damage, or do you want to throw a random dagger at enemies as you fight? And that's about it. It's like, I don't want to do either. Both these kind of suck. But I think I just picked the arcane missile one.
that seems... Well, I mean, for the most part, though, it's good.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's more WoW. Like, I mean, people burn through that Legion content so quickly, and this is at least you're not stuck on that planet anymore, at least.
Well,
and it's just a new experience. Like, people are just a new experience, and people are just having to grind up again to get good gear.
That's a plus, then, at least.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people playing it and enjoying it, so that's the positive thing. I'm guessing at some point people will start, ranking expansions or whatever and trying to put this one where it lies.
I would say it's probably mid-tier. Like, I think Legion was really good, and I think maybe one of the Panda... I think the Panda one might have been good. But, yeah, like... The thing driving me is, like, now just getting better gear. Like, I already beat the story for what story there is now. I mean, they'll add more later on. And, like, when they unlock raids and stuff like that, you can go do that, I guess, in a year and a half. Or when they finally introduce flying again.
Yeah, or they just announce another expansion already.
That'll be about a year and a half.
Wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised at all. BlizzCon.
Well, it'll be at least they won't announce one right now at all. Like, or even for next year, it'll be like next year they'll probably announce like, oh, you can finally fly in this expansion, or here's the quest line to unlock that. Go have fun.
Yeah, they got a lot of Diablo stuff to announce supposedly, so that'll probably be the bulk of that press conference, and then some Hearthstone expansion and whatever else.
Well, they'll probably show like the new some raid dungeon off or something like that, or raid instance.
Oh, anything else you've been playing you want to talk about?
I guess We Happy Few. It's a complete bummer of a game that, even if you divorce it from the survival aspects, is still a huge misfire in just how the game is made and constructed. It's shoddily made. I was trying to kill one guard, and he just ran. I killed one guard, another guard saw me and he ran towards me, and it basically looked like he slipped on banana peel because he sprinted past me, ran into a door, and died. And I was like, what?
Wow.
This isn't a fucking Benny Hill game. Come on.
I have seen some really bad glitches as well.
Yeah. The thing, ultimately, I think one of the good things BioShock did is it had very constrained levels that, you could backtrack if you needed to or wanted to, but it was a very linear experience for the most part. And the levels, I mean, they were open to a degree, but they still funneled you into okay, now you need to go do this, or go kill this person or whatever. This game is has massive areas for no good reason, and it's just empty. Like, I have yet to make it out of the first area of the game, like the main, like, farm area, because it's just so damn boring. Like, I completed one quest that almost broke on me that I told you about. Like, I had to find a... Well, it was like, you have to go open this door into this junkyard to, get to this army base. And I thought I had to find a key, because that's what, like... It didn't tell me what to do, and ultimately had to find a lockpick. But I already, like, used all my lockpicks, so I had to find materials for that. And it's like, this is a bummer of a game.
Yeah, I have not heard a lot of people talking positively about it. And
it's funny, because I saw some of, like, the game developers. They were like, oh, you can turn the... survival aspects off, like the hunger meter or like the tired meter and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you can, but that's the least of this game's problems. Like, ultimately, you being thirsty matters very little in the game. Like, it can impact you, but not really. And the funniest part, really, to me, is like the code we got, or like that you sent me. It was like the pre-release version, or like the pre-order version. Right. So I have 2 umbrellas that were like, pre-order rewards or whatever, that are indestructible and cause bleeding or electrocution. So I have no use for any other weapon in the game, because every other weapon degrades, and you can upgrade these umbrellas to do even more damage when you get the right parts. So it's like, why would I use anything else?
That's weird, because, like, most of the time, those pre-order weapons, like, they're supposed to be good for, like, a while, like, to get you through the first part of the game or whatever, and then after a while, you start finding stuff that's better than that weapon. That's weird that you'll get one that just makes you OP for the whole game.
Well, initially, like, they start off kind of weak. Like, I got this... I'm using, like, the bleeding umbrella, and it doesn't crit that often or anything, but I can upgrade it to, like, I guess it causes bleeding all the time. And even if it doesn't, even if it's just a weak weapon, like, through the entire game, it's still indestructible. Like, I'm not having to manage this stupid inventory. Like, I'm collecting clubs and, pieces, like, cricket bats and stuff like that, and it's like, why bother? I can just dump all this stuff and only hold on to this one umbrella.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, do you get to sell any of that stuff, or?
Supposedly, I've yet to find a store in the game, at least in my area where I am. But there are, like, values associated with some of this stuff, so I assume there's a store. But put it to you this way: when I eventually review that game, I won't have finished it. I already saw the dumbass ending online, and the ending was great. Like, the video I saw, because it was there are multiple characters, so there's like the third character. I think his name is Ali, and he's using, like, the guy playing it was using, like, a club as his weapon. And it's like, if you mean to tell me that if in 20 hours this dude never found a better weapon, or that's a problem.
Yeah, that is.
I think his club was better than, like, the ones typically find, but it's like, no. And the combat itself is just bad, and so is the stealth. Like, I ran into that army base, and it was supposed to be like a sneaking mission, and, like, I got spotted, and I ran into a house, and I locked the door, and then they just lost interest in me completely. And it's like, all right. And then I eventually, I just left the house from the other exit, and the guards were literally just, like, frozen in front of the house. Like, just, they were locked in the animation of trying to find me, but they couldn't. It's like, I just walked past them. I'm like, all right, later.
Like, no problem here. All right.
Yeah. Other than that, not a ton. Like, I've been playing, like, a little Dead Cells and Monopoly on PS4. That's about it.
Well, yeah.
And I got Mario Kart.
Well, hey, you can never go wrong with Mario Kart. I still need to play with you one of these nights.
Well, before you have to pay to play.
Yeah, before we have to pay. Well, I mean, considering what you have to pay for the other people, that's not too bad at all.
I still don't like the rubber banding in Mario Kart.
I mean, when has there been a Mario Kart that doesn't have the rubber banding?
The first one. and Mario Kart 64 lessened it to a degree.
Yeah, that's true. I do remember being you could be out front of people a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah, the blue shell thing kind of made that to where you get put in your place a lot quickly.
Yeah, and there's no when you pick up weapons, there's no defense because you always just get stupid banana peels, green turtle shells, or maybe a ghost, and you don't get anything good. Like if you could just hold on to a star, it'd be fine. But yeah,
you get that's pretty bad. Like just hold on to that green shell and hope you can block something. That's pretty much all you can do.
Yeah.
Well, I've been playing a lot of stuff. Dragon Quest XI will have just gone past embargo by the time this is posted, so I'll go ahead and go look. It's I got this code kind of late, so I've tried to play as much as I can. This is a long game, so along with the other stuff I'm playing at the same time, it's difficult to try to get through this game. Hopefully, I might have something by the time September 4th rolls around, but not making any promises. It was funny. Even the person that sent the code was like, "I know this game's huge. You're probably not going to have it by embargo, but here you go." I'm like,
yeah,
okay. I'm glad that you guys are honest at least and not just expecting miracles. But yeah, no, this is I'm gonna be honest, I haven't played Dragon Quest since I played 7 when they did the remaster on 3DS, but playing an older version of playing an older Dragon Quest is a little different than playing one of the newer ones. And of course I played 8 for a little bit when that was all the rage on PS2. That's pretty much it. I don't have a large extent with Dragon Quest like I do with Final Fantasy. So, it's turn based. It stays to that, and that's great for people that love that. I think it's fun. I don't know. I love the art style, that sort of cel shady, anime sort of look, because obviously Toriyama, Dragon Ball fame. Does the characters. So, the joke is that everybody looks like Goku, which I don't think they do. It's just, that's his style, so they look like that.
Well, it's like that Chrono Trigger remake on PS1. Like,
yeah, basically.
They animate the hell out of Chrono and everyone else. It's like, this looks kind of weird.
I agree, yeah. He definitely does have the Goku hair. You do kind of get, there's a sort of like an overdrive that activates kind of randomly, called pepping up, and you sort of do like a Super Saiyan pose, and they get the Super Saiyan like light up behind them, and
there was something like that in Dragon Quest Heroes. Like you fill the meter, and then you could just activate it and deal. You dealt like tremendous damage and just killed everything on screen essentially.
I wish this had a meter. It doesn't. It just kind of shows up randomly. So
yeah,
it's like either I got hit too much or it just decides that it wants to do it. And it's like, okay, cool. I randomly get powered up now. And it's not a huge power up. Maybe when like the weapons and all that stuff get better, you can feel the effects more. But it basically just, as far as I'm in the game, which is like the first 5 or 6 hours, your the power up is like you get to hit them like 10 hit points more than you would regularly. There's this little crafting thing which is kind of neat that allows you kind of decide how good that weapon's going to be depending on how well you can fill this little meter. Xenoblade kind of had a sort of similar thing as well. except this one you can also sort of unlock different things that help you make it easier to get through that too. The story seems pretty good right now. I don't want to spoil it because it's early, but the setup is that your character is this like savior called the Luminary, and you're basically trying to stop this evil that's basically tried to kill you, and you find out other secrets pretty early on in the game, and then I think I'm about to hit the door that you go through that kind of sets you off on the adventure finally, that you get out of your little hometown. So I met one extra. There's several members of the party because they make it. They do not hide them at all. Like in the loading screens, you can see them. So you'll know who's going to all be part of your party pretty quick. I feel like it's when I watch One Piece and the next ending shows up, and you already get to know who the next part of the party is going to be before they get anywhere near close to that character showing up. So this is kind of how I feel like sometimes with Dragon Quest, you find out all the party members before you even get to them. But yeah, I've been enjoying it so far. If you like Dragon Quest, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't pick this game up already, or will when it comes out. But it's I've enjoyed it a lot more than I really feel like I ought to give Octopath more of a shot. I feel like I didn't.
Yeah, well, just stuff piled up. I don't know about you, but at least with me, like I had like 4 games to review when I got Octopath. I was like, sorry, buddy, you're going in the closet for a while.
Yeah, it's the same. They have like I had the time for Octopath, and then all of a sudden, oh, here come the codes for a bunch of stuff.
Like the thing about Octopath, at least I think it has a really good battle system.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And like
it helps too that both of us bought it, so we didn't have again the like necessary need to like, okay, we gotta crash through this and whatever. By the time the end of the year comes, I will have given Octopath a shot, and we'll get to talk about it more when it comes time to doing awards and all that. Another game I've been playing, Guacamelee 2, is more literally it's more Guacamelee. Seriously, if you like Guacamelee 1, you will really enjoy Guacamelee 2. It has everything you like about the first game. You're playing Juan again. This one has 4-player co-op. I don't have more than one. I only have one PS4 controller, so.
Yeah, I managed to get 2, so that's been helpful.
I did not get to try that out.
Controllers are expensive nowadays, so I understand why you only have one.
I'm interested in the. I call it the Dragon Ball looking one that's going to come out.
Yeah, the orange.
Was it Orange Sunset or whatever that they call it?
Like I got a PS4 controller for like $28, like new, because some Amazon. It was like some package that they had, but yeah, controllers are now like $40 or $50.
Yeah, they cost the same as the game almost.
Like the Wii Pro controller is like $60 or $70. It's like, forget that.
Oh yeah, the Pro controller is awesome, but yes, it costs $70.
Yeah.
And one 2 Joy-Cons cost $80, so but yeah, no, like it's being a person that has a lot of has a lot of Mexican roots, the jokes, the stereotype stuff is still there, but it's funny to me. I love the fact that you can use the chicken a heck of a lot more in this game. They actually gave him his own moveset and everything, so if you like using the...
Yeah, at first it's basically like the morph ball from Metroid, and now it's like a lot better, or like a lot more integrated into the actual game.
Oh yeah, that's what makes it fun, is like the last game, from what I can understand, because I didn't get to play too much of it, is that it was kind of there.
Yeah, like you used it very sparingly. Like I think it was also a pretty late game power up, so you just used it to like find secrets essentially.
No, this one's here from almost the word go, and then he actually has reasons of being. Like there's a whole level where you're the chicken most of the time, and it's really fun. And I will say, if you got totally like went through Guacamelee 1 and you're wanting something like a little different, you're not getting that here. But if you're down with everything Guacamelee 1 was, then you'll definitely enjoy this game.
I think that's the core problem, is they've released like 4 or 5 other Metroidvania games in the past month and a half. So I imagine Guacamelee 2 it's artistically different. It plays different than those other ones because it's kind of a melee game.
Right.
It's still gonna it just gets kind of like lost in the shuffle.
The puzzles are a lot really kind of hard though. I mean, there's times where I was getting really frustrated and sort of going, holy crap, I don't know how to figure this out. And then all of a sudden, I'd do the time shift thing, which you can control now. It's not like hitting a button or whatever. You actually just press R1 and it changes to the other timeline or whatever. I'd be like, oh, that's what you do. Okay. But dang, if I didn't die, I don't know how many times trying to figure something out. But it's still fun. Speaking of another Metroidvania game, this comes out in a couple of days, The Messenger. This game is also very fun for its own reasons, in that it's like Ninja Gaiden, sort of, in the old NES Ninja Gaiden. I wonder if it gets harder later on, because right now, within the first few levels, it's not that difficult. Perhaps once you get through to the part where it starts letting you change between 8-bit and 16-bit. I haven't got to that part yet, but that's apparently a big conceit of the game, is you can change which era of gaming you're basically looking at it in. But yeah, I mean, if you like platforming Metroidvanias, especially like the old Ninja Gaiden, and it looks a lot like it, this is a game to go check out when it comes out in a couple days. It's another one of those Devolver Digital games, so it's good quality. Overcooked 2 is more awesome Overcooked. I actually got to play that with Anaya and my mom, and that was an experience. So
it'd be nice to play that game, but I have no one to play it with. And my cat's not a good game player, so.
You can play online though, so if you got it, I can play with you. I know Randy kind of asked me the same thing. He's like, "Can you play online?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, it'd be good to play with people that actually sort of know what they're doing. Like, they got a hang of it after a while, but the problem is too that the Joy-Con thing, using the Joy-Con horizontally, I tried playing with that.
It's bad.
Like, you can get to figure it out, but it's like, God, this is not comfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the first thing I noticed when I got my Switch, is how awkward both Joy-Cons are to hold sideways.
Yeah, holding them vertical is not too bad. You do have to get used to the whole... Like, I haven't had a Wii in a long time, so I know with the Wii, you kind of got used to that mechanic of using the nunchuck and then the remote. So you kind of have to get used to that again with the Switch, of playing it like that, because I played it in like kickstand mode just to see. Because this is a game that like the graphics don't change regardless of which way you're playing it. But yeah, I mean, it's more Overcooked, honestly. They don't mess with the wheel much at all. But if you loved Overcooked 1, go get it. Overcooked 2 is fantastic. Going through a couple of these, Death's Gambit is sort of like Salt and Sanctuary, kind of a Soulsy kind of game, where you're probably going to die quite a bit. It's not my kind of game, but I feel like I'm getting better at it the more I play, so that's positive. There's also a lot more platforming and running around than I think you would in a Souls game, so there's that. That's another sort of Metroidvania to add to the list of them. Yeah. Freedom Planet is coming out on Switch in a couple days.
I assume it's still Freedom Planet.
Yeah, it's still Freedom Planet. Pretty much. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to like that game because I played it on Steam, like a year or two ago, and I liked the main character, but like the different characters kind of threw me because they didn't explain how different they were or like what their kind of powers were or like why you should play as them at all.
Yeah,
So
the chameleon-looking thing, and
isn't like one like a white rabbit or like something?
yes, something that looks like a rabbit. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the main character, I want to say is purple.
Yes, she's
Purple,
the dragon.
Yeah, she's like the fast one, and then
Mhm.
yeah, I tried to play as like the white thing, and she's slower, and then she had like a bunch of weird moves, and I was like, this is awkward. I don't want to do this.
I've only played as the main character.
Yeah,
so far.
I would stick with that because
I kind of wanted to just beat the game as the main character. I will say I enjoy the story for how quirky it is and for them trying to do something different than, the Sonics of that era did. So.
well, when that game came out, like Sonic was terrible. Like that Freedom Planet was supposed to be like a Sonic mod essentially, but they just made it into an actual game, and I kind of kept the Sonic torch going for a while.
Yeah, I mean, if you played Freedom Planet 4, or you sort of liked it, and you want to drop money on it on Switch, it's there for you, as with many other ports that continue to come to Switch.
That are too expensive?
Yes, many of them which are way too expensive. Look, I get it, there's a Switch bump there, but give me a break, guys. Last one is the Aces of Luftwaffe, which is one of those like vertical twin stick shooter games. Like the one that I always remember is like from the SNES. It's called Air Raid. Basically, you just keep going up or down with your plane and just keep shooting, and you get power ups as you kill stuff. And yeah, I do like that there's skill trees and stuff like that in this, so it's like more of an expanded version than the very just basic stuff you would have played back then. And I like the art style of this game too. So
it has a similar name, but I'm surprised Luftrausers isn't on Switch yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not either. That's one of those like games that I really enjoyed from PS Plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me. That's been a lot to play in this time that we've since last recorded. But
the one thing I'll mention also is I've been playing Monster Hunter World on PC, and messing with that game with Cheat Engine is a lot more fun than PS4.
I bet. Makes things a lot easier. Did you say they tried to like take some of that stuff out of the game?
No, they released a patch and it broke like a lot of Cheat Engine scripts, but like within 2 or 3 days, like they released a new table and it was all working again. And I'm not playing online. Like that's not the goal. Like I'm not trying to like, ruin someone else's campaign. It's just I just want to play privately, like just pretty much just solo. Like because I have infinite health and I can knock off body parts of different monsters in one hit, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you can beat monsters that maybe you didn't get to beat in the PS4 version, so that's fun.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
I've actually gotten further in the PS. I think I might be equal, but I think I might have gotten like one mission further in the PC version so far.
Hey, there you go. Cheat Engine is worth it for that.
I'll keep playing that one just because it's, it's enjoyable to me now. Like, I had a friend who was like, oh, you're ruining the experience. And I'm like, no, I'm having a good time finally. This is actually the only experience I want.
Oh, all the purists out there are getting angry as...
I mean, I can understand it. Like, I played like Dark Souls 2. I played it for a while, like normally, but then I just busted open Cheat Engine and like, now it's a great game.
So you're getting ready for that Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate then.
Well, that's on Switch, and there's no Cheat Engine for that yet. Give it time.
I heard that game's apparently even harder than World.
Well, that's like based on like the old, because it's like isn't it like, I want to say it's like Monster Hunter Tri, like it's like a version of that, like they.
Yeah, it's based off the old Monster Hunters.
So yeah, they have to like throw paintballs and shit at the monsters to like track them. It's like screw that. I don't want to do that. Like I think Monster Hunter World has some like weird archaic shit in it. Like to think that that other one has even more of it. It's like I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Because I think you and Adam both offered it to me. It's like no, thank you. Find some other sap.
Yeah, after you said no and you'd played the other one, I was kind of like, all right, I just won't bother with this one. But
yeah, I mean, you should play it, and you can give it a good review.
Yeah, I'll die a lot and just be like, look, this is probably great, but not for me.
Yeah.
So something that's not for me, but maybe for somebody out there that really wants an Xbox and doesn't have $500 or $400 or...
And you don't have a Rent-A-Center near you somewhere.
Well, Rent-A-Center will rip you off way more than this. So I learned that the hard way when I bought my first plasma TV or HD TV. I got it from one of those places, and I wound up paying like $800, and I saw it in the store. Like, I think 2 weeks after I paid it off for like $500, and I was like, oh, God.
I got news for you. That's what this equals out to also.
No, it doesn't. It equals out to you save money. Unless you don't want Game Pass, then no, you're not. But it just depends on what you want. Like, you don't have to do this. So, either way, outlining this for people that don't know, Microsoft announced Xbox All Access, which had been rumored like the whole week during Gamescom. They officially announced it earlier yesterday, technically. And what you're getting is, well, this really doesn't do much considering that they're about to release the next Xbox. And I don't know why you would... I wonder if this is like a test thing to see if they can get people to buy this and then they'll roll it out for the next Xbox, pretty quickly. But anyway, here's what happens. You can interest-free buy a Xbox One X for $34.99 a month for 2 years. You sign a contract just like you would at a Rent-A-Center or Aaron's or whatever, except they're not charging you 3 times what it costs. And the Xbox One is even cheaper. It's $22 a month, basically, for 24 months. And this is kind of more like what you would when you get your phone. Like when you get a phone and you get a new phone, and now they bundle in, like a T-Mobile bundled in my my charger and the phone case and all that stuff, so that I would pay a little bit off on each thing every month. So what you're doing here is not just getting the Xbox One X or the Xbox One S, you're also getting Xbox Live included, and you're also getting Xbox Game Pass included here. So you technically wouldn't have to buy another game because you're getting almost all the big games, including Master Chief Collection, which is coming out in a few days for it, included. Now, to be fair, with the One X, at the end of the day, if you think about paying for all this stuff monthly, which really for Xbox Live Gold, that's stupid, because you're paying double. But Xbox Game Pass, that's really the only way that they have it available right now, is to pay $10 a month, I think. So with that, you're paying the same amount. You're not paying more or less, but you're really only saving $20 when it all comes down to it. The problem is, again, you're paying this out for 2 years. So,
well, I wonder if you could pay more.
Well, you can do that with your phone too. So I'd imagine that you can. Like, if you want to pay, I don't know if they figure this out quite yet, but I imagine that if you want to put down $100 one time just to make the payments smaller, I guess you could.
Yeah.
To pay this off faster. But obviously, if you don't pay, I don't think that they actually come and take the system. What they do is you have to pay off whatever it is that you didn't pay. And they actually make you sign up for like a Dell Preferred account and all this other crap too, which is weird.
Yeah. I mean, frankly though, like this, I mean, it might be beneficial to some people, but I would rather just go out and buy some $250 used PS4 and go that route.
Or you can buy a used Xbox One S for about that much.
I can get that for like $175 because no one wants them.
Yeah, like, or there's not a need for them unless you have a 4K setup or whatever. I mean, the Xbox, unless you don't want to, for some reason, don't want to go buy an external hard drive, there's really not a need to switch out the S for the regular Xbox One unless you, like I said, have a 4K setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said. Go ahead.
Also, they tried to do this with the Xbox 360 through Comcast. I don't think it ever actually got off them.
Oh, that was terrible, though. Like, I don't think it was the same though. Like you got that stupid 4 gig Xbox.
Yeah.
That like basically required you to go buy another hard drive right out of the box.
Well, speaking of that, I got another 360 over the weekend.
just cause.
I had a friend who just gave it to me. He was collecting dust in his, in his basement, so he's like, "Here."
Ah, there you go, free console.
Yeah, and it's actually in the box and everything's like all nice together. I was kind of surprised.
Nice. You know, I don't think this is bad for Microsoft. Like again, like if they roll this out for the whatever the next Xbox is going to be called, I think this does bring more people into the fold immediately of saying, all right, I don't have $500, $600, $400 to throw out in one lump sum, plus the live gold is $60 unless you already had it and it rolls over or whatever, and then the $10 more a month for Game Pass, or like, this is a nice incentive to get people to buy it. I don't know if you're smart, you know that you're basically wasting your money right now because, again, the next Xbox is coming in 2 years. They've already said that, and probably the PS5 is probably going to come around that time as well. But then again, if nobody uses this, Microsoft might just take it as all right, well, we can't really afford to do this for the next, whatever the next Xbox is or whatever. But I don't know. I appreciate Microsoft trying to come up with different ways to get people to buy systems.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is not for me, but might work for people that.
I don't have a 360, and if I didn't have like some other responsibilities money-wise, I might consider it. But I honestly just don't care enough about the Xbox One X or the X to give a damn either way.
Yeah, but think about it like, do you really have a lot of games on Xbox that are Xbox only that like interests you enough that you want to play them?
I mean, if I had the Game Pass, I'd probably give a lot of games a shot.
That's fair. I'm just saying, like, I think it's good if you really have games on those systems that you want. But if that's gotta be a thing. I mean, granted, next time rolls around and Sony doesn't have this thing there and Microsoft does, then maybe that flips the tide for Microsoft a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, Microsoft is trying all they can. They also want to buy more studios with emphasis on trying to get more stuff for Game Pass. So this is smart for Microsoft. They keep thinking ahead and trying to be one step, further than what Sony's doing, and maybe this will work out for them in 2020 or 2019, 2020. Maybe it will. Streets of Rage 4. I mean, yeah, they could just fold up, right? And just be like, all right, we lost and whatever, but they're trying. Streets of Rage 4 got announced. I know you're a Streets of Rage fan.
No,
so
I never played them. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody is.
I actually walked through the trailer. I'm like, this looks kind of bad.
Well, I mean, these are old beat 'em up games, so.
No, this is a whole new one. Like, they made
right,
this from the ground
but
up.
This is a new one, but it's based off these, like, in an era where beat 'em up games were around, and those go to a certain point, like, as long as it's not as bad as the Double Dragon 4 that came out,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sort of interested in it. I like the art style. I kind of like these games, so I don't know that I would go out like day one and buy it, but if it's on a sale or something, I'd be interested. They're also .mu is also the ones that are making the Windjammers 2 for Switch and PC. Now that's something I know you're a fan of, so
yeah, but I don't even think they showed any gameplay of that yet, so we'll see.
Yeah,
at least this double, or what was it? What is
Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage, yeah. Like, at least they showed, 8 seconds of gameplay.
They got some big plans for Windjammers too. They just gotta wait. Just give them credit, I guess, for wanting to bring back some of these old games. I'm down for that.
I mean, someone's got to do it, so.
Yeah, with as much as people complain about they want this old game or that old game there, it's happening. At least for Streets of Rage, anyway. So Gamescom stuff that did get revealed here. Sekiro, Shadows. I don't want to even try to. Shadows Die Twice. It's coming out March 22nd, 2019 for the 3 main systems that can handle it. Obviously the Switch, probably not one of those. There's a collector's edition that comes with a 7-inch Shinobi Ninja statue, a steel book, a collectible art book, a parchment map, soundtrack, and replica coins. My God. That's a lot of stuff.
I mean, it's no different from some of these other dumbass special editions that they've been announcing.
Evil one. Hey, from everything I've seen, this looks really good. I'm interested in it. Obviously, Ghost of Tsushima is also coming out, and it might take a bite out of the hype, but good that we're getting stuff with feudal Japan a lot here. Are you interested in this at all, or?
I'll give it a shot, maybe if it comes across my lap. But I still want them to bring another good Tenchu game.
That would be pretty cool for them to do.
They made one good Tenchu game, and that was about it.
I'm good with again. This is Microsoft, and all that. Well, this got shown on Microsoft's deal at E3, but this is coming to all the systems. But still, they're pushing this. It's from the same director of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, so it's gonna have that angle too. let's see what happens when we get to March 22nd, 2019. Speaking of March, you also get Devil May Cry 5, which I know you're like not the biggest fan of.
Yeah.
Shenmue 3 also got a release month, so that's positive. So we just had the Shenmue 1 and 2 remaster come out a week ago. I guess around the same time next year, expect Shenmue 3. So you have a year to play Shenmue 1 and 2. Have fun with that.
And to be bored by tears by both of them.
Oh, God. The people that are like really big Shenmue fans are like, sitting there going, God, what is...
all 11 of you.
It's like I'm waiting for the... You're like, hey, I know 15 people that like Shenmue. All right. You go with that.
That's good sample number. We all hang out on this one message board.
What is it? The
I guess like save Shenmue, like the save Shenmue Reddit.
Well, technically Shenmue did get saved, so would it be in the keep it going Reddit?
Yeah, now that after Shenmue 3 comes out and bombs, are going to demand Shenmue 4.
I hope it doesn't, for all the like crowdfunding and Sony putting money into it and everything else. I hope it doesn't, but
I don't think Sony put money into it. They just had it on their show floor and go like, "Hey, here's the Kickstarter for this thing. You nerds
really?
want
I
it."
thought Sony had helped.
No, they were pretty explicit in saying like, "We're not. This is his thing, or they're getting outside funding from somewhere, but it's not us."
Okay.
Because if it was, I don't think Shenmue 1 and 2 would be released on the Xbox One.
Yeah, you're right about that. Even though Shenmue was originally an Xbox game.
Well, originally it was a Dreamcast game. It just got Shenmue 2 just got ported to the Xbox, and I had that, and it was dumb. I played it for like an hour, and I'm like, this is bad.
Well, something that perhaps has not aged well either, The Walking Dead, the Telltale game, is now coming to Switch. Better late than never.
It's coming at a discount price.
Yeah, for a grand total of $25.
Yeah, which is, I think, more than it is anywhere else right now. No, it's the same.
It's the original price. It's $5 for each one, for each episode. Yeah. Look, again, this is everything that comes to Switch has been doing great. I honestly feel like, again, like, aside from Life is Strange, and maybe when Wolf Among Us comes, might revitalize something, but as far as Telltale goes, I think we're starting to get to the point where that narrative, like solely narrative-based thing, is starting to become kind of passé.
Well, it's funny you say that, because they just had, like, the first episode of the final season of The Walking Dead released like 2 weeks ago, and I read some reviews, and I guess they are using like a new game engine, kind of. Mm-hmm. But no one cared. Like, that was ultimately the problem. Like, the day of the release, like I read some reviews, and like no one on Twitter was talking about it whatsoever. And like no one gave a damn. And it's like that's not good. Like, the reason The Walking Dead, like the first season, did so well is because there was kind of like that, like pop culture, not race, but like drive behind it. Like when like, new episodes came out, like people were excited and they were talking about it.
Well, it was new. We really hadn't seen something like that in a long while. That wasn't like point and click and whatever, like.
But also, like, the first Walking Dead season was a good story, or Like, you cared about those characters, and after every iteration or every season, you just gets further and further away from that.
To be fair, that is hard to keep up with throughout when you're constantly putting that out, training that out.
Well, it's a matter of, like, they still got like 3 or 4 games in development aside from The Walking Dead, so their team is still split up. Like, I think I would like it if Telltale really pared down and focused on one franchise or one game. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't do that, because then if that game bombs, they're screwed. But you can tell over the years that their writing has just been diluted, and their game engine, even this new one I've heard, is not great. Like, it still struggles with action scenes, and it's like that's
really
not
shouldn't
great.
be a problem with
the
power that these consoles possess. I don't know. I think just like Telltale is sort of part of it is
like,
The Walking Dead is just starting to.
Well, they just didn't like evolve or change.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't innovate whatsoever.
Yeah, it was just basically, okay, here's the engine, we're just sticking a different franchise on it. And I don't know, maybe it's restrictions from all these different franchises, like all these different companies that own these franchises that only let them do so much. Maybe that's why Tales from the Borderlands was so good, because it didn't have anybody just going, oh, you can't do that, you can't do this. It's characters that had nothing to do with the games.
Well, isn't that pretty much that Game of Thrones one? Like, it has like cameos by Peter Dinklage and Lena Headey, and that's about it.
Yeah, but there's still things that they couldn't do. Like, they couldn't talk about.
Yeah, it has to tie into that canon, so of course they can't do it.
And well, then also it's like Game of Thrones is, there's something to be said for like the way HBO does it or whatever, but like, not everybody can just take that and just make it into something awesome. The Game of Thrones game that was on like PS3 or whatever wasn't great.
That was
either.
bad. Yeah. I mean, say what you want. Like, they're both licensed, but Tales from the Borderlands and Wolf Among Us are the best Telltale games from since the first Walking Dead, because they were allowed to be different, and they introduced new characters that people cared about. Or at least...
Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. That's why people are looking to Wolf Among Us, the second series, and going, oh, please be different. Please be great again. Please bring us back to what made Telltale something. And yeah, all these other franchises they've had to do. Like, again, I love Stranger Things, but I'm not like pumped to play that, because it's probably gonna bore me, and I don't want to sit there for 2 or 3 hours and just kind of watch a thing go along, So, look, if you're for some reason have not played this, because this game's been out since 2012, the first season.
Been out on everything.
Yeah. It's on your phone, for God's sakes. You want to pay the $25? Go ahead. It comes out today on the first season, anyway.
That's the funniest part. Is it's only season 1. It's not even 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's what's weird. Is like, I get they're probably gonna do these like really fast. Like, I'm sure by the end of the year, all 3 of them will be on there. But it's just like weird. You wouldn't just have a collection of 1 through 3 already for like $50 and make one of them free, basically, or something. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever. It's people trying to cash in on the Switch craze, and I guess you can blame them at this point with the news that we're about to talk about here. The July MP numbers have come out, and 5 of the games that are on the top 10 are Nintendo games. or are helped greatly by Nintendo, as in the case of the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. So there's something to be said for what Telltale is doing here. Octopath Traveler was the number one game of July. Right behind it, though, Grand Theft Auto 5, for God's sakes. That game will not go away ever.
Well, now it's at like $30 price tag. So
yeah, that helps a ton.
At least on that thing, like that'll be probably like one of the best selling PS4 and Xbox One games ever.
Yeah, God, not just PS4, Xbox, just best selling games ever. Period.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8, right up there in third. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, again, helped a lot by the Switch, but it's not just on Switch. Zelda Breath of the Wild, Far Cry 5, Mario Odyssey, The Crew 2, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and Mario Tennis Aces.
So the fun thing about this list is it does not take into account digital sales.
Yeah.
And apparently Monster Hunter World sold like 10 million copies on Steam. So I imagine if they took that into consideration, it'd be like number one.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And that's the thing is, NPD at some point, hopefully by the time the next consoles roll out, they might improve how they do this. But by the end of the year, we'll know what's what. It's just interesting to look at these numbers. And Nintendo is apparently the only system, which makes sense, that the only technically newest system out there. They are the only system to have a year-over-year growth. They have basically owned this year, which is expected when you think about the stuff that's come out. And we haven't hit the big months yet, so we'll see by the end of the year if that winds up being the case. But the PlayStation 4 is still churning along, and there's good news from Microsoft in there, but they don't want to let you know the exact sales numbers anymore. So that is what it is at this point. Assassin's Creed is not going to come out in 2019. We do know that Odyssey is coming out this year in about a month's time or so. But are you okay with this? Like them deciding to sort of take the year off again?
I think they need to. Like, I think they did drive Assassin's Creed into the ground in, like, the late era 360. They pumped out, like, 2 Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, 4 very quickly. And they lost focus of the story to an extent. And now it's all over the wall. It gives them time to innovate or, actually break down the series, franchise and see what needs to be fixed or see what can be improved upon. Like, say what you will about Origins. I mean, I didn't like it that much, but it was a different game than, Syndicate or the past games. And people seem to like it. They're wrong, but they seem to like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that seem to like it a lot.
I have this. I know this Assassin's Creed fangirl on Twitter, and I think she's even worked for Ubisoft at certain points, like doing PR for Assassin's Creed. And like she said something recently. She's like, "Oh, I played Odyssey and it just doesn't feel right." And I was like, "It looks exactly the same as Origin. That didn't feel right either. Like, what are you talking about?" And then she didn't respond to me. He's like, "Yeah, no crap, you didn't respond because your point is stupid."
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Like they are really basically like Destiny up Assassin's Creed, like with the gear system, the skill system, even like dialogue trees and stuff like that. It's like this doesn't belong here. This feels bad. I could go play Destiny if I wanted to, or Mass Effect. Like, I have those options. I liked Assassin's Creed because it was a stealth game that was fun, and I could use my hidden blades to stab people. Now I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, every time you sort of innovate on a game and they change things, it's not always gonna
Yeah.
be
Oh yeah.
loved by everyone.
Like I like Syndicate, but that had problems for sure. But I think Assassin's Creed is interesting because they've gone through at least 3 or 4 like innovations or like kind of reboots in a sense. Like every game looks pretty much the same and has some of the same elements, but like gameplay wise, like Assassin's Creed 2 is vastly different from like Brotherhood. I mean, not Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed 2 is different from like Assassin's Creed 4, which is different from Syndicate, which is different from Origins. And they all look the same, but they all played like really differently.
Yeah, and that's true, but I think like it really plays differently compared to what people were used to with Assassin's Creed, and some people were willing to take that step.
I mean, Origins was bad, and the past games were good. So that's the breakdown. I think that's ultimately why they made that Assassin's Creed Rogue remastered, last year, maybe even this year, just because Origins didn't light the world on fire for like a lot of fans, and Rogue has a lot of those basic gameplay systems that Origins didn't have.
Hey, it's nice to have that in your back pocket when you're Ubisoft. You just throw an older-ish game out there.
The inherent problem, though, is they don't have any other games to like put out there.
Yeah, a lot of their games are big games, and I mean they got Trials and Odyssey, and I think that's sort of it, right? They had Far Cry 5 early in the year. That did not light the world on fire either.
Well, for this year, yeah, about Origins, and I don't even think Trials is going to do that well because it never really has. But you have to imagine next year like, they'll announce like some new, what is it? Like Watch Dogs 3 maybe, or maybe they'll finally like have a release date for that Wild game that they announced like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or they'll just make another Rayman game. Who knows?
Maybe it'll finally be the time for Splinter Cell. Oh well, they got the Division 2 as well next year.
But we'll see how well that does.
I know you're hoping for it to do well. You played Division probably longer than a lot of other people did, too.
Yeah, but then I gave up. Like I think it's still fairly popular in some circles, but those aren't circles I want to be a part of because I really didn't like. I didn't like that whole their whole PvP system at all.
Fair enough on that. Just a couple of other things as far as Switch is concerned, because they're getting more old stuff. Grandia and Grandia 2 is coming to Switch, the HD remaster. I enjoyed both those games. I'll be happy to see them on Switch. I don't know that I'm jumping out to buy them or anything, but
I played some Grandia game for review, and it was fine, like on Steam, but I don't remember a damn thing about it.
Hat in Time is also coming to Switch. That's one of those 3D platformers I kind of always said I wanted to try out, but I ultimately did not. So if you liked Hat in Time and you've been waiting for it to maybe show up on Switch, it'll be there for you soon. A game that I did love a lot on the Wii U, New Super Mario Brothers U, and it's that, like, Anaya keeps asking me I want to play Mario with you on the Switch, and I'm like, well, the Mario Odyssey is not great with you being Cappy and me running around as Mario, so this is much better as far as co-op goes.
Well, that's why you let her run around as Mario, and you can be the Cap.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'd rather her sort of learn in a bit. I don't know. I kind of like the Super Mario Brothers U like setup of having the older look to it, and it's more co-op friendly. So I'm down with this coming out. Just very much like she's excited for the Pokemon game because it's very co-op friendly. So, I'm down for.
I bet she's chomping at the bit to play Diablo 3 on Switch.
Oh yeah. That's it's not a game I want to necessarily introduce her to, but there are probably a lot of people that are happy to play Diablo 3 on Switch.
I think I saw that they wanted to include like Nintendo bosses as Diablo bosses, and that'd be kind of fun.
I would like to see that. Like, they're already bringing in the Triforce, Portrait Flame, and they're gonna have Ganondorf armor and stuff like that. You can have a chicken pet. I'd wanted just to see what kind of Nintendo things they would include. But man, $60 is. You
can be Mario. That's all you need.
Dude, if that happened, where you can just be certain Nintendo characters, I don't know. That might be like, okay, I'll pay the $60 for that.
Here's a custom class of Intergalactic Bounty Hunter. Here you go. You can turn into a ball.
Luigi appears to.
Yeah.
From the depths of the dead to go and attack on this. The interesting thing here too is that you can play 4-player on one system, or you can actually connect multiple consoles together wirelessly online for that. So, hey, good on Blizzard for finding different ways to make this work.
I'm sure 4 people crowded around a Switch, it's gonna be a real fun experience.
Yeah, that's why you have. Yeah, that's why each of you have your own Switch, right? All do that. I think it's what the UI appears on the screen, even when you're playing with 4 people, so it can get the screen really crowded too that way.
Yeah.
So I can kind of understand the whole reasoning why you would want to do that, but. Yeah, hopefully this works out for Nintendo. They already have Blizzard sort of talking about that Overwatch is possible for the Switch, whereas StarCraft 2 probably not. But at least you could get Overwatch.
I wouldn't think StarCraft would be good possible on the Switch.
Yeah, they had to really change the game a lot to make it work on 64. So I'd imagine. It's the same thing for the Switch in this case. Continuing with the dark theme, Vampire is getting its own. Yes, the recently released Vampire that we've talked about on this show is getting its own television series. All right.
Sure. Yeah, it has a interesting enough hook. Depends who they get, for the role, but why not?
TNT had the hit with the Alienist recently.
Yeah. Get Daniel Bruhl to be back as now this vampire doctor, and that's all you need.
Yeah. There's always a thing that they're trying to relaunch Buffy. There seems to always be a thing with vampires somewhere on TV or in movies. So why not? Just hopefully it doesn't just become trash. Let's not have another video game thing just be nothing. Another game they might be taking a break though. Different company, Dishonored. Which
Dishonored 2 did not seem to do that well for that company, and they released that
Outsiders thing.
Yeah, Death of the Outsider or something, whatever it was called, and that seemed to do even less for the company. So
that felt like it just showed up and completely went off the radar immediately.
Yeah.
It also came out at a difficult time of the year, but still.
I haven't played Dishonored 2. I've heard it's fine, but I just had no interest because I didn't really like Dishonored 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of difficult to. I don't know if they've changed a whole lot in there to make you want to go, yeah, I want to play this or whatnot. But yeah, maybe never.
And I think it's kind of a shame because at least there's not a ton of first-person stealth games out there anymore. But it's not like that Thief reboot did anything, or like Deus Ex is in the ground also right now. So that's all there was left.
Yeah, but it's good for them to take their break and kind of reanalyze where they want it to be, and not just keep making games and be like, oh, well, maybe we'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
Bethesda's got a lot going on right now anyway, so kind of let that one go by the wayside when you've got a new Elder Scrolls, Starfield, and Doom Eternal, and all that other stuff going on. You can kind of
but also, it's not like Bethesda was making it. It was Arcane, I think. So
yeah, I mean, they're probably not going to be doing another Prey for a while, but still.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is that hopefully they make it something else in the Prey universe, because that game was fun at least. I have that DLC. I never reviewed it, but their DLC got decent reviews too. I think it just came out like way too late.
Yeah, it should have came out like early this year or something. Maybe.
Well, should have came out when people remembered how to still play Prey. Like, that was my problem. Because I loaded that DLC up and I was like, I completely forgot how to play this game.
Like, oops.
Yeah.
Gotta go through this again.
Well, it's been like 9 months. So what do you expect?
Yeah, that'll make it forget pretty quick. I know you're not a big fan of this, but this is one of those series that come by like completely pass me by, like Time Splitters. I know a lot of people that are excited about there possibly being another Time Splitters game, though. Even though the original, I think, creator was saying that he doesn't think that the first game would work that well for this current generation, but perhaps Second Sight would, even if they redo it.
Like, if I remember right, the first game is like barely a game. Like, it's just pretty much like a multiplayer, thing.
Okay.
It has a story, but I mean, it's not good. 2 has more of a story, and then 3 has, bootleg Vin Diesel doing like time travel shit.
Yeah, I'm always happy for people getting their favorite games back or whatnot. So,
where's my Tomba HD remake?
Hey, nothing wrong with Tomba. If with all these, that was a big platformer, right?
Yeah, if they're making a stupid medieval remake, they can make Tomba also.
With all these platformers coming out now, like, why not?
That medieval remake, like, I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, that's kind of just been there. They keep showing it in I think they showed it in the sort of pre-show at E3, and then it was in the sizzle reel thing, and that's about it. Like, you don't hear much about it at all. I guess they know where that is. Like, as far as it's sort of like what Activision's doing with Spyro. Like, they delayed it. I mean, good for them to want to get it right, but now you're also releasing it in like the death time of the year, at November 13th. Like, get ready to get squashed.
Yeah.
Spyro already doesn't have the cachet that Crash had, but I guess the diehard Spyro fans will.
Well, it's funny. I told a friend of mine I was going to buy Crash, and he's just like, he's kind of trying to talk me out of it. And it's like, I know it's going to not be a great game. It's based on a 1996 platformer. Like, what do you expect? But I have more nostalgia for Crash than I ever did with Spyro.
Yeah, like, I liked Spyro. And I don't, perhaps I get some of those vibes again playing it, but it's not a game that I'm going, oh my god, I've got to have it right now. I know there are people that are like that, though. There's a lot of Spyro fans all of a sudden when this got announced. But, yeah.
Like, it's funny in retrospect to see... Cause I don't think it's part of this package, but, like, a few Spyro games had Gary Oldman in them. And it's like, what? And, like, you know, Elijah Wood is voicing Spyro, and I think Gary Oldman is, like, playing, like, the Elder Dragon or something. It's like, you guys went in a weird direction, didn't you?
Well, I mean, this was before they kind of got back into the consciousness, right? Like, before Elijah Wood was doing Lord of the Rings and all that.
Yeah, I think it was, like, right before that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everyone knows Gary Oldman.
Right, yeah. Just still, hey, sometimes people do side projects and you're kind of like, oh wow, they did that, okay.
On a somewhat related note, the only bad thing about that Crash Insane trilogy so far is they replaced Clancy Brown as, like, the voice of Dr. Cortex, and it's terrible.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Like, Clancy Brown is still alive. He is still doing voice work. You get that dude back in there and have him do those lines again. Or use the old lines. Like, it's fine. But he has a unique voice that is awesome.
Maybe they didn't want to pay him? I don't...
Yeah, but they actually got, like, other good voice act. Like, John DiMaggio's in the game.
Yeah.
It's like, why is he here? Like... So they spent money on voice acting. They just didn't get, like, the right voice actor. No offense to John DiMaggio. I will take Clancy Brown over his ass.
That's, you know, it's unfortunate sometimes when they do these. Like, they can't get everybody back, and...
Yeah, but the funniest part is, like, in the old Crash Bandicoot games, like, Clancy Brown was, like, the only voice actor in them.
That says a lot.
He did, like, Neo Cortex, and I think he did Uka. Like the
yeah,
evil...
because Crash didn't talk.
Yeah. He did, like, the evil, you know, voodoo mask. And I think he might have done, like, one other character, too. And it's like, okay.
Well, makes sense. Again, like, they didn't have a lot of talking characters, but still, I mean, like, that's cool. Like, I'm glad that this is at least coming out, at least it's coming out and not like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, where it's like, well, keep delaying this.
I mean, yeah, but also at least I have faith that they will deliver a actual good game when it comes out. Unlike, you know, Mighty Number 9.
I agree with you. The funniest thing is the angry Vita owners that were mad that the Vita version got canceled.
Yeah, all 9 of you.
Yeah,
we still think the Vita's like, you know, a worthwhile, you know, a vibrant platform or whatever, because, you know, limited run games keeps releasing crap on it. It's like, when was the last time Sony released a Vita game? That was like
they're
7
not.
years ago.
They're stopping production on it, and
it was like Uncharted Golden Abyss was like the first and last Sony game on that thing.
Exactly. And it's just, well, you had what, like, some Freedom something? I don't remember what it was. Like, it's some weird name, but it was Sony sort of funded. But still, like, it's few and far between, and that's one of the problems with that system, among the other things. But, yeah, they're getting to the point where they're stopping production on physical copies. They're going to stop online support features for certain things. Certain apps have already stopped working, so yeah.
I mean, the Vita's been done. I mean, honestly, the Vita's been done for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, they keep, you know, Japanese visual novels and weird indie games keep releasing on it, but nothing big, or, you know, nothing that people actually give a damn about.
Yeah, other than, like, the Persona games.
Yeah, and even that, like, the last one is, what, Persona 4? Like, the dancing one?
Yeah, well, the 3 and 5 are going to release on it. So,
they are? Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah, I forgot. I'm so happy I'm getting that collection for $60.
Lucky
that's
you,
nice.
Lucky you.
I tried to tell you, but you got there too late.
I saw it, but like I saw it when I first got up, and I was trying to go to work, and it's like, that it stopped. They realized it after a while, but yeah, because I doubt that if they send codes, it'll be for the whole collection. It'll probably be for 5 by itself, or just 5 and 3 or something. But
I actually imagine it'll probably all 3 games.
It could be. I mean, I personally only really care about 5, so I don't have a connection to the other 2. So
if they send codes for all 3 games, just give me those, and I'll buy a 5.
Yeah. I did see like the extended gameplay for Gamescom. It looks fun. Those games though like are terrible for you to watch. Like they're way better for you to play. Like so.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to actually get hands on with that and see how it goes. But it's always fun getting to hear the music, of course, which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, sad things about the delays they happen. You know, it is what it is. Yeah. By the way, that Endless Night Connection does cost $100, coming out December 4th. So if you're interested in those Persona dancing games, they're there for you.
I've heard a lot of like mixed things about the Bloodstained demo they released like 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I played it and had a blast. I thought it was fun.
The Curse of the Moon thing?
No, that was a full game. No, Bloodstained released like a E3 backer demo for Ritual of the Night.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 months ago. 6/29 is when I had it, or like last played it. Yeah, and it was fun. Like movement seemed a little weird, but also it's a 3D game. Like it's not a 2D game like the old Castlevanias were, so that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that's what he noted in that too, is that they did get good press from the backer demo, but they still felt like they needed to delay it to work on it.
Yeah.
So give him credit for at least really trying to make sure the game is good when it comes out, and not just be like, oh, we'll release it and then just keep patching it.
I think it's a good way to show up Konami, like, because they're never going to release another Castlevania game, like a real one.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, at least they're letting them have the anime, but that's...
And say what you will about Mighty Number 9, I think it did help Capcom eventually get to work on Mega Man 11. So who knows?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, we don't know. Maybe it did kind of press them into it, and getting the collections out there as well. So
yeah,
credit to them on that. Also, something that has been a big deal, of course, in the streamer community, the Twitch Prime removing ads, or at least Twitch Prime no longer like letting you have the benefit of paying so that you can not have ads show up. And then Amazon Prime is also removing like the discounts that you get for pre-ordering games, which is like 20% some on some games. Instead, you'll get a $10 Amazon credit, which the only thing that kind of sucks is it's like within 35 days, and then you have 60 days to use the $10 credit. So it's not it just like you can just have it sit there and accumulate or whatever. You've got a certain amount of time, but a lot of places do that. Like when Hot Topic or Box Lunch or whatever do these like, here's $15 off if you pay $50. It's always like a month or a month and a half that you have to buy something. I mean, what like I know you were saying people are making a bigger deal out of this than.
I mean, I actually didn't know about that it was going to be delayed like that, so that is kind of a bummer. But the amount of discount you get from a normal game is $13, and now you're getting a $10 credit, so it's a difference of $3. Like you're getting upset about that. Like you need And I didn't know about the, like I said, the discount or the delay, so that is kind of a bummer. But still, like, it's better than paying $60 for a game.
I agree.
Also, I think the Twitch thing is more interesting actually, because like getting rid of ads is the reason to have Twitch Prime. Like, what the hell is the point of having
now
it?
they want you to get like Twitch Turbo or whatever to get ad-free viewing, which is stupid. Like they want you to pay for two things.
Well, it reminds me of like how Hulu had commercials, and now they finally like you can finally pay to get rid of commercials, or like how Netflix is testing the waters for having commercials like between episodes of shows, and it's like, go fuck yourself. Like, if I wanted to find this shit, I'd find it on my own. Like, I think the Netflix thing is actually even more galling, because the whole thing about Netflix is binge watching. Like,
right,
you don't want to see
without ads.
And like, Netflix has a lot of shows. I'll grant them that, but not all of them are good. And it's not like I want to watch some commercial for some crappy Netflix show, between episodes 6 and 7 of Jessica Jones.
Right. I get what they're doing. They're kind of promoting their own content and all that junk, and maybe it'll get you to pay attention to something that you wouldn't have just by reading a synopsis or whatnot. But it's like, it's just really stupid, because at the end of the day, you're not really helping the streamers and all that stuff by removing this. Like, they don't make that much off of ads to begin with. So, by saying that, oh, we're going to remove this thing that people actually like, you're not really doing anything but actually making people go, well, I just want to cancel Amazon Prime now. I mean, they have the free games and all that stuff now, but it's just, this is not helping people. And I wonder if the Best Buy thing, closing down, might have made Amazon kind of be like, well, we don't really need this anymore, as far as the 20% off thing. Yeah,
their Gamers Club, Ultimate, or whatever. Like, I'd be curious if if GameStop would ever have a program like that.
I mean, they do on pre-owned games, right?
And maybe. Like, I hit up GameStop today, and like the guy asked me, he's like, "Do you want to renew your rewards program?" I'm like, "No, not really."
I haven't bought a pre-owned game from there in a long time. So
I mean, I don't mind pre-owned games.
Yeah,
it'd be nice if they came with like all the crap, like the case, manual, and everything, or what passes a manual nowadays. But if I can find it for cheap, sure. Like, I bought Mario Kart, for Switch for like $42 off eBay, because that's the cheapest place I could find it.
Right.
So I don't mind pre-owned. It's just a matter of it has to be kind of worth it.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, I mean, I think it's great for. I mean, it's really good for if you wait a couple weeks and you'll automatically already see the game down to 50.
Well, that's the problem now, is like games as a whole are getting so devalued. Like, I saw Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, that was one of the best games of last year. For like, it was on sale on PSN for like $13 for like the whole that game and the DLC. And I was like, what is going on here?
I mean, that's just how that works, though. Other than Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's kind of like.
I actually talked to a friend of mine about that, because he has like a Japanese account, like a Switch account and an American one, and he was like, "Oh yeah, games go on sale on the Japanese account like way more, and like the actual Nintendo games go on sale for like good prices." And I was like, "Yeah." Meanwhile, the American side gets like 20 games you've never even heard of before, and maybe one game you care about.
Yeah, and their price deductions are weird. It's like $3, and it's like, that's not a discount.
Like, they had like Puyo Puyo Tetris on, quote unquote, on sale for $24 when they're like the regular price is $30, and it's like, what? Like if you're gonna knock this down, knock it down to like 15, because like even the Steam version is only like, it's only 20, and it's been to 15 already.
Yeah, or at least 20. Like maybe 20 might be an impulse buy for somebody, but you're going, oh, let's knock it down $5. I mean, I know there's some people that go nuts and go, oh my god, there's a sale. It's like the GameStop stuff that sometimes I've seen, like their sale is literally $1, and I'm like, really? Like, okay, y'all are is there somebody that dumb that they can't see the price difference there? But okay.
Well,
whatever
it's funny
works for you guys.
GameStop used to have, I don't remember that, this was a long time ago. They used to have deals where you could trade in like 4 or 5 original Xbox or PS2 games and get like a whole new game for free, or they didn't care about the value. It was just trade in 5 games and get whatever.
They still
free.
do that.
I haven't seen that in a while.
But it's for certain games, like it's towards certain games or towards a system or something, because they basically want you to take those trade-ins and use it to buy something that benefits them, like so like
this was funny because this happened when I was in college. I had a roommate at the time, and he wanted to get San Andreas, and like when it first came out, and GameStop had like a trade for PS2 games, and you can get it. And he had a copy of Suikoden 2 at the time, so I was like, if you trade me that game, I'll give you 4 of my PS2 games. He was like, sure. So I immediately made that trade, and I was like, have fun.
Nice.
Because even at that time, this was like 2005. Suikoden 2 was still was a rare game even then.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's an amazing trade you got there.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to know before we get into entertainment stuff is MU Paradise, which is the website I would use for many years to get ROMs and stuff. They are following suit as some other emulator ROM sites are, of taking down their ROMs because basically they don't want to get sued, and they can't afford it, as you would imagine. And that's kind of sad.
Now, how am I going to fill up my new NES Classic with old NES ROMs?
How are you going to do that?
Yeah, I'll have to dig up one of the 10,000 other sources on the internet for it.
Yep. Those aren't going away, but I do understand him in a way. Just don't want to get sued. It's a normal thing. Guardians 3 is officially on hold now because they can't find a new director. Who would have thought they're not going to just find another director right out of the gate? Supposedly they might be talking to Taika Waititi, the guy that did Thor Ragnarok, but I'd imagine he has there's another Thor movie or something else.
No, I actually think Thor's probably done after what is it? Avengers 4. I mean, everyone would love it if Taika Waititi did it, because he's a great director. I mean, I think he has a different sensibility than James Gunn, but his comedy films are great, and everything he's done has been good, really.
Yeah, I'd be down for it too.
And I think if he did do it, he'd probably use James Gunn's script, and probably have him, on Skype at the ready,
like, hey, what do you do here?
Yeah, like, why don't you tell me how you would direct the shot, and then we'll just do it that way.
Yeah, we'll see how that works, but
I'll be curious. I'm kind of more curious about, I know Dave Bautista has been very not happy with Disney.
Yeah, God, he's been blasting them constantly.
But then, also, Sean Gunn, the guy who plays Kraglin, he also does Rocket in the movie. He's the main Rocket, essentially.
I thought
So
he does. I thought Bradley Cooper does Rocket.
no, he does the voice. I'm talking about like, the actual motion capture work for
Oh,
Rocket.
okay.
He's the dude wearing like the green suit. Like one of the funniest shots, like I think it's like some behind the scenes footage, is like from Guardians 1. It's when like Dave Bautista puts his hand on Rocket, and you see like the actual thing, and it's Dave Bautista putting his hand on Sean Gunn's back, and it's like this is kind of cute.
Yeah, for sure. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here, because is Sean Gunn gonna be very considerate of his brother, or he's gonna be like, look, I can't pass this payday, and just I think James would understand if he has to kind of as a contract, and
Well, plus he's getting, I think the rumors are like he's getting like between $7 and $9 million to kind of walk away from Guardians 3. And like DC is literally chomping at the bit to try to hire him.
Yeah, if I'm DC, I'm trying to hire him too. Smart DC. But no, honestly, this is probably going to be a while. They got time though. They'll just push back the movie or whatever it is they got to do. Well, just hopefully it's a good director.
So Captain Marvel's done, or they're doing the effects work now, and so
Right.
it's the same for Avengers 4. I think they're filming Spider-Man 2 now. But there are other films they could be doing, and they're not. Like I'm kind of curious, like Black Panther 2 is the obvious one, but I think the problem with that is like the director is busy, and they want to get him back in the saddle for it.
Yeah, probably.
I'm kind of just waiting for them to hand over all the keys to the Russo brothers and go, you pick a character or property and you do it.
Wouldn't be surprised, honestly. But
I
like the fact of them just getting different directors, though, because it gives it a bit more of a...
Yeah, now it does, but when they first started doing that, it was pretty hit or miss.
That's true.
Like I don't know how recently you've seen the original Thor movie, but unless your neck is tilted, that movie's pretty weirdly shot.
Yeah, I kind of don't remember much about the original Thor, or Thor: Dark World for that matter.
Yeah.
Veronica Mars is finally for sure getting the revival. This time it's going to be at Hulu. Kristen Bell is coming back, along with the original creator, Rob Thomas. They are going to work her around her schedule with The Good Place and Frozen 2 and all that stuff to make sure she can do this. Don't know about anybody else on the cast who's coming back or not, but
they can get. Yeah, I never watched that show, honestly, so this means nothing to me.
I watched some of it.
I would say that the problem with the show, though, now kind of is the premise of the show was like her as a high school student, like high school detective, right?
Yes.
Like, no offense to Kristen Bell, but she's up there in age. Like, is it going to be like about her son or daughter at this point? Like, I know they made that,
but I'd imagine maybe she's just like, maybe they put it forward in time and she's not in high school anymore.
Maybe, but she's. I know they made that movie a few years ago. I didn't watch that, so I don't know what the premise was. But she's 38 years old.
Yeah,
that's a little too old to still be hanging out in high school. It might work for Cameron,
unless she's a teacher. But yeah,
it might work for Cameron Crowe, but not for her, really.
Yeah. They'll figure it out, though. I think it'll be good. There's a lot of fans, a lot of people have been waiting for this to come back.
Sure.
So, good for...
I have no cachet for it, but, yeah. And she's still good on the Good Place, so...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They just need to find a way to bring her back in Assassin's Creed.
Probably Probably not. I imagine that requires a hefty price they don't want to pay. But yeah,
They can get Dak Shepard instead.
why not?
He requires no price.
Basically, Movie Pass is like
Done.
on death's door at this point. Like, they have continually just kept putting more and more stuff in everybody's way of why do I still have this? Like, they lost, I think, 126 million. They are now like limiting new releases to like 4 to 10 days after they come out, so it's almost like having one of those passes, which you might as well just get that instead of having Movie Pass at this point. Like, just, I'm sorry, Movie Pass subscribers, but you might want to go find another service at this point.
I think I saw some story. I don't know how true it was or not, but like people who'd canceled had their accounts like reactivated, and then they couldn't cancel them.
Did.
And I was like, "What the hell?" Like if like I ran out of PSN credit and like I opted out, but then like a month later they reactivated it, I'd be suing Sony.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to hear about. Well, the shareholders, I think, already put in a class action lawsuit, right? So
yeah,
like this is going to keep going down the drain for Movie Pass, and it's sad because they could have got this to work, but their model is terrible, and at least it sprung up AMC, which that seems to be doing okay, and the cinema one seems to be doing fine. It's not as big as what Movie Pass got, but yeah.
Right.
It's a novel idea. I think somebody will get it to work. It's just, you got to get it to where it's not just at one theater chain. Because I don't have an AMC.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Near
like,
me, so.
Yeah.
Interesting though that Amazon's trying to buy their own, like, slew of theaters, landmark theaters. They have to get around that law that a corporation, some like people that make movies cannot also own movie theaters. Even though apparently Donald Trump and the regime are trying to get that thrown out, so we'll see how that goes. But you think this is a good idea, Amazon, to buy a theater chain now? I mean, you're having problems with what you pay employees. You're going to go buy a theater chain. Are you going to pay these employees also like $7.25?
I mean, they'll get by with what they can, but like I guess their Whole Foods acquisition hasn't been terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure that's been fine. You get people. I mean, that was already. I'm sure you're not making nothing for the amount of money they have to pay to get that kind of food there. So, yeah, I think it's interesting just to see Amazon buying their own theaters, like what that's going to do to. Do they start trying to buy up more and maybe possibly buy out other companies that have been in business a while? Amazon looking to own everything, folks.
Yeah, eventually they'll have to face off against Disney.
That will be a battle. I don't know that I want to. It'll be Time Warner, Disney, and Amazon. Who's left standing? Watchmen series is actually officially getting ordered for HBO. I'm excited for this. It's pretty awesome. I'm glad that they're also kind of. Well, I'm glad that they're not like trying to just let's remake the movie or do all this. They're kind of setting their own vibe, but also using the original comics as sort of like a groundwork. So, and it's got some heck of a cast though.
My question is, like, Watchmen as a whole, like the actual just comic itself, is a very not circular, but a very how to phrase this, centered story. Like, you can't really do a sequel on Watchmen. They tried and it sucked. And they're fucking up the DC comic universe with Watchmen crap in it right now. Stop it. Like, I don't need to see a sequel to Watchmen. I don't want to see a prequel to Watchmen. We had those comics and they were also bad. If you're gonna do this thing, make it something new. Like, you don't even call it Watchmen. Don't have any association with that universe. Like, in the DC universe right now, in the comics universe, like, Dr. Manhattan's a bad guy. He's like the ultimate bad guy in the comics. And it's like, who thought of this?
Somebody that wasn't thinking?
Well, someone who, like, looked at, Watchmen and was like, we can make money off this. And now, like, Dr. Manhattan is, like, fighting Superman. And it's like, what? Who?
That makes no sense. Good job there. I don't know. I'm always sort of interested to see what people can do to take something in a different way. They seem really behind this, and again, they got a heck of a cast, but...
Yeah, like, I'm more interested in the cast. Like, I like some of the people in the show, or, in this proposed show, but I think the whole idea seems just kind of like a weird misfire. Like, I just don't know how you can really build off... Like, the Watchmen as a property isn't that expansive.
Yeah. Now they might have to, like, take it in their own way if it gets really popular or whatever, and just do their own thing that's not in the comics at that point.
Yeah. And like I said, at that point, like, well, why even do it? Or why tie yourself to this that is just going to really tick people off?
Oh, maybe they get enough fans that don't necessarily care so much about the original source material to watch it that's enough for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's got to be a lot of... For some of these series that they've had that, like, Game of Thrones that were only like me, that I had the books. I got through part of book 1, and I don't know, I never was able to get back to it. And I watched all the seasons of the show. Now, granted, they had George R. R. Martin there as a consulate and all that, but they eventually had to go past the books and do their own thing.
Well, they had to because the books are done, or he hasn't finished writing that last book.
Well, multiple last books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so, we know the thing with Disney is pretty much a done deal with Fox at this point. But that doesn't stop Fox from continuing to make movies with their big animated shows on the Sunday nights. They're making a Simpsons 2 movie. Bob's Burgers movie is finally getting made, and a Family Guy film as well. I love the first Simpsons movie, so I'm down for another one. Bob's Burgers is another show that I kind of sort of like, but I've fallen off, like, watching it all the time. I'm not a big Family Guy person at all, so I could take or leave that, but yeah.
I would be happy if they brought back King of the Hill.
Sadly, that's not going to happen. Probably.
You say that, but, I mean, who knows?
They try to bring it back, though, already.
Yeah, but they'll find some way. I mean, arguably the hardest problem would probably be casting.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't see that Simpsons movie, and I have no opinion on Bob's Burgers. I've heard it's fine. I just haven't watched it. But a Family Guy movie sounds objectively bad.
This show has kind of been blah for I don't know how many years now.
Since it came back in, like, 2004.
Yeah.
I think that show got, like... I like and respect the first 3 seasons of that show. Like, before it got canceled, like, the first time.
Yeah.
But after it came back, it got super mean-spirited and all it did was like do those like cutaway jokes.
Oh yeah, or the parody jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right.
Or, you know, they had one, like, the first chicken fight was funny.
Yeah.
But then they kept over-amping it and making it longer and dumber, and it's like, please stop. Or, like, the Road to episodes, like when Stewie and Brian go on like, a road trip. Like, they did, like, I think 2 of those in the first 3 seasons, and they were cute and good. But then they've done 14 more of them, and they just drove it into the ground.
Yep.
And ultimately, the real bummer is, like, Seth MacFarlane, I mean, he did that. He's on American Dad. I have a friend who's obsessed with that show. I think it's worse than Family Guy, honestly.
I enjoyed Cleveland's show for what it was.
He didn't do that.
It also didn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, well, he didn't. I think he had like a part in that, like he may have done like some creative thing behind, but like he didn't make that himself. But like, I like Seth MacFarlane as like a person. Like I've heard him interviewed. He is like a very intelligent guy that like he seems like a good guy that you want to be friends with. But like his shows and his movies, like they just go for like the lowest hanging fruit, and they're terrible. I mean, I actually really like the Orville, like the Fox show he does now, this like Star Trek show.
Yeah.
But the worst part about that show are the jokes, like the really obvious jokes. They do have some really good humor in the show, but like the super like potty humor jokes or like just some of the dumb jokes they have, it's like, this is awful. Like, don't do it. You can do better, and you have. Please aspire to be more.
Sometimes though, like it's just there, and I think with him doing Family Guy so long, he just can't help it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's like the joke from South Park. Like they just have a bunch of manatees throwing balls for jokes.
God. I love that one. That's great. So you got some Star Trek stuff in here as well. Star Trek Discovery. Ethan Peck is going to be Spock. And Star Trek 4 is having some issues as well here. So
actually, like Discovery is also I read recently that Discovery is also having issues.
Oh, that sucks. Didn't we just talk about the person at the head of CBS wants something Star Trek all the time, and now we're...
Well, now they have the Picard show, so who knows when that's coming out, but it has to come out soon, because Patrick Stewart's getting up there in age.
Yeah, certainly, you gotta worry about that.
Let's see. I have no opinion on that Spock casting. Like, I have no idea who that dude is. I'm sure it'll be fine. Like, people really didn't know who Zachary Quinto was, except for like from Heroes, but he was a good Spock. I think the more interesting part is the Star Trek 4, how that's fallen apart because both Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth left.
Yeah.
And I say Chris Pine has been in, like, the only movies people cared about him in was Star Trek and Wonder Woman. He is not, his other movies have done pretty bad.
Well, that's because they're, it's part of known franchises, so that helps.
And then, but he did good in, like, no one gave a shit about him as Jack Ryan.
No, I agree with you. I liked him as, in the One Woman, but I'm just saying, like.
But then also the same thing with Chris Hemsworth. Like, the reason they're leaving is because they want like AAA money or like AAA actor money, and it's like neither of you dudes has demonstrated box office returns like that.
Yeah, like was it Snow White and the Huntsman that didn't do fantastic or anything?
No, that did good. It was the Huntsman spinoff movie that bombed.
Oh yeah.
Like, no wonder, like, big surprise there. And like I like both Chris Hemsworth and Pine, but they're not like Robert Downey Jr. caliber actors. Like they're not going to get $25 million per role.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually they might get to that, but they have to like build up that cachet.
Even The Rock, to an extent,
Yeah.
sort of has earned that. Yeah.
But he's also. It was funny because I saw. I'm not sure which video it was. But I saw a video on YouTube that was talking about like The Rock as, like, he is a. I think it was like it was about a Predator thing. Like Arnold is a bad actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a bad actor in great movies. The Rock is a good actor in bad movies.
Yep. That's the truth, man. He's in so many bad movies, but he makes them good.
But like people love The Rock, but he's in crap like Baywatch and what was it?
The Rampage movie.
Rampage, yeah, and then
Skyscraper and
yeah, and it's like, do more, man. Come on.
It's like, get out of that little niche. Like, do something.
Like, you don't need to be in, like, if they make another Scorpion King movie, you don't need to be in that. Like,
I don't know about that. Don't be in that either. Like, he's got lucky with the Fast and Furious being in that.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a spinoff of that. They're doing like another Jumanji movie. They're doing some weird jungle movie with Disney.
I love him in Ballers. He's great in that. That's like the HBO show.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger was a bad actor. People like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he's a bad actor in really good movies. Like, imagine if like The Rock was in, Terminator or Total Recall or something like that.
Yeah. He would have a hell of a lot more roles, but he's already getting a lot now for being in all those bad movies.
Yeah.
But, alright, so I talked about some of them, but there is a lot of games, good games, coming out today that you should be aware of here. Also, Divinity Original Sin Original Sin 2 comes to console in a couple of days too. So, and if you did not play it on PC, you should definitely pick that up on console.
Yeah, I got a friend dying to play that on console.
Fire Pro Wrestling World comes out today on PS4. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate comes out today on Switch. Yakuza Kiwami 2 comes out today on PS4.
I should start playing that for reviews.
Jesus.
I've just been so behind with like stupid WoW and We Happy Few. Like my schedule is now gonna be We Happy Few and then dive into Yakuza.
You got Strange Brigade, which is a third person like co-op shooter. That's also coming out today. You have that Far Cry 5, like the last of the DLC coming out today. The Donut County, which is like supposed to be the next like indie that everybody's talking about. We'll see how that goes. It's a really funny game. It's like seriously, you should check it out. The next Hearthstone expansion comes out in a couple of days. The Boomsday Project. Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 comes out today. Yeah. So, a lot for you guys to go through and pick and choose. Even Battleship Brigade Deluxe comes out today as well. So, yeah, there's a lot there for people that are itching to play something. You got it.
And
go find it.
And next week is a good game, Spider-Man.
Yeah. Next week, well... would that be on Friday? Or would that be the Tuesday after next?
I want to say the 7th?
Yeah, it's the 7th.
Which is really weird, because I think it might be a Friday.
Yeah, it is. Next Friday.
Like, reviews are hitting next Tuesday for that game.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual game is coming out the 7th. And it's like, wait, right. What? I guess you're confident about it. Like,
oh, well, I don't think... They would have screwed up on that game, but yeah, a week after that's Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So, man, you will not be wanting for games pretty soon. And Little Dragons Cafe came out during the time that we weren't doing this, during the last week. So, yeah, man. Get ready to play a bunch of stuff, folks. Yeah, that's going to do it for us here. Hopefully you enjoyed what you heard. If you did, hit subscribe wherever it is you listen to us. Lets you know exactly when the next episode comes, and we're right there in your queue. You can listen to us on a variety of places, including Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, all those places. We're on YouTube as well. We're, of course, on 401 Mania, on W2Net.com, and on Last Word on Life. Thank you to both of those sites for partnering with us. And until next time, we'll see you later, everybody.
Later.